take my bullshit to the end. So
Okay.
I was gonna go all the way with it.
I don't think he would duck the fight, but I think that once he realized that the fight might duck him, I feel like he was a little bit relieved.
Yeah, you're like Israel. You're just a little opportunistic.
The contracts have been signed, so if they move my opponent, I just got to fight somebody else. So we'll figure it out.
Wow.
I'm good with it.
Yeah. What do you feel about, because you came in here, you had a lot of camaraderie with Spoety, you've developed, you know what I'm saying? You felt like he was a great guy. That's why you even wanted to spar with him podcast-wise and in the ring. What do you feel about Adam running him off?
For the record, J Hood ran him off.
But that was an agent of WAC, which is agent of you.
I mean, that's the narrative that people are running with, but for the record, I asked Spotyface if he was cool with J Hood coming on the pod, and he said yes. And I didn't know that them having a disagreement about WAC was going to result in them basically challenging each other to a fight, which didn't happen because Spotyface went and got something out of his car as opposed to actually engaging in a fight.
Oh, he's still snitching, huh? What'd he get out his car, bro? Don't, Adam, stop doing this shit, bro, to your co-host, bro.
And that's a WAC narrative that you've been running with, too, because we don't have any proof of that other than WAC saying that.
Well, I've been told that by various people,
J Hood and WAC.
including people who won't say it on camera.
Are you serious?
I don't know about that.
Okay, wait.
That's not up for debate.
I think that is up for debate. That's straight from WAC and J Hood. That is absolutely
That's
up
coming
for
from
debate.
people I've talked to, and that's coming from the person who has access to the cameras.
But they said that when they tucked off, they went around the corner.
I got cameras up and down this whole block.
Yeah, I'm
All
not
right,
buying that. That's a WAC and J Hood narrative. We're not believing that as fact right off the bat.
We did see.
Okay.
How come in that moment you didn't say like, "Hey, yo, nah, like I'm not cool with that"?
Who am I to tell two big menacing Crips that they're not allowed to go shoot the friendly? Now, if
You're the CEO.
You could have made that
If they
call.
want to leave the building, I told them don't do it in my parking lot. They said, okay, we're going to go down the street.
Crips enforcing officers.
If I knew that one of them was going to take it to the level of going and get the whoop-de-whoop.
But that's the thing, bro. You never know where it's gonna go, right? You think you can control some shit, bro, and then you talking about, bro.
Then I would have been more concerned. But if they wanted to just go have a little like friendly in the parking lot, I mean, that's not really my problem, right? I didn't think it was that big a deal.
But it didn't seem like Spoty's energy was matching that. It was definitely a J Hood energy. It was a WAC, defending WAC energy. It came from J Hood from the beginning of the podcast. You could tell.
But if you watch it, it's like Spotyface was saying things to J Hood that were like essentially like designed to get it to the. But like when you say, "Hey, that's a PC move," especially to someone who has had controversy on the internet because they were on a yard that is not like a PC yard, but a 50-50 yard. I mean, you don't really like say that to somebody like J Hood without expecting that it's going to go there. Right?
No, I understand that, but people are kind of misplacing that because that's after J Hood said we could squabble.
They both
that's
escalated.
After, that's after J Hood, and then Spoty's like, "Oh, you doing this kind of?" He felt like he was cloud chasing. That's why he said the PC comment. I feel like, and then that escalated even further. But J Hood had already said we could squabble. After the pod.
But then Adam, bro. But then Adam, right? You say, well, who am I to say something? That's the same thing I be saying when you be talking about one mic and screaming at mother shit, right? You want to have power one moment, the next moment you powerless. Your hands in the air. Cat got your tongue.
We could squabble.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it was just as surprising to me as everybody. Everybody thinks I have like divine knowledge of how these things are going to play out, and in reality, I thought that J Hood was just going to be a good addition to the pod, and I thought, notably, when I had Munchie and J Hood on the podcast together, I talked about how I thought that it was important that I get them on the same page. I didn't know that there was going to be any potential for conflict between Spotyface and J Hood, and I didn't know that the WAC thing was going to be the thing that like was so serious that they would feel the need to go handle each other out in the parking lot.
But you don't feel any responsibility for you being the person that headed the WAC conversation and kind of brought up the things. So Spoety wasn't saying any gay stuff. You're like, Spoty's always saying WAC's gay, and then that sparked the conversation that led to the fight.
mean, like, I don't understand how me bringing up a person that one of them likes and one of them doesn't like is like why would I think that would lead to them fighting?
Yeah, I don't think it would, but if I'd said...
Because it's going to lead to one defending them and then one speaking bad on them, bro. Why you be playing dumb, bro? That shit be crazy.
That, and I didn't think that would lead to them fighting, and it did. I feel like I would have a responsibility to defuse a situation.
No. I don't think that the responsibility comes in there. That's why I asked Adam why he didn't stop it the way that you stopped the altercation happening between Moose and
Yeah,
Wack.
you're supposed to jump in front of Spoety
You
like
basically
that.
said that you just because you don't want violence at the building. So even though these are two established Crips, reputables from their hood, you feel like you shouldn't insert yourself in their problems. You are the boss of this building, which gives you the right to say, nah, like this is a violence-free space, even friendlies.
I could have tried. I could have said like, no, please don't go fight. But ultimately, like if they want to leave the building and go fight, it's kind of like out of my hands, right?
Right.
Yeah, I just don't think it's.
For sure. I just in that moment would have liked you to see you be like, nah, bro, like I'm not cool with that. Because
well, if I knew that Spoety Face was going to go and get the whoopty wop, then I would have probably said that. But
You keep saying if you knew, bro, right? That's the thing. You don't know what's going on, bro. And it's probably for the greater good, right? Because if you did, you were infidel. Talking about what you ain't know, bro. Nigga, so what? Niggas supposed to just break down everything to you that's going on? Like, yeah, bro, this, that, and the third, and yeah. Nigga, you're the rollers.
that they were going to do something that was a little bit more chill. When I found out that Spoety Face was, I guess, not into the whole fair fight thing, that's what kind of blew my mind later on when I realized that, like, oh, I thought they were about to shoot a fair one. Turns out Spoety Face just wanted to shoot somebody.
Also, though, how could it be
I don't
a fair
believe
one
that.
if they don't?
You seriously don't believe that?
I really don't believe that at
that's
all.
crazy.
Just because it came from Wack and J Hood first, and then now
You
it's
really
like
think
from
J
the.
Hood would lie about that?
I don't know. I
Spoety
really
Face
don't
is the
know.
only person who has an incentive to lie about it.
But it just doesn't really make sense. Like, why would he go outside, even agree to go outside if he was just gonna go to the car and get a weapon?
So no punches were thrown. Is that confirmed that nobody got hit?
Personally, I think punches were thrown because I don't understand how J Hood had an egg on his head and how Spoety Face's glasses disappeared. But I think like Spoety Face and J Hood, basically, I know that they got on the phone and agreed to not discuss what happened outside. So that's why I think it's confusing to people and they don't feel like they're getting the full story because they came to an agreement between each other to not tell the full story. But along the way, various people have kind of leaked the full story. So
Yeah,
I feel like I have an understanding of what happened, even though even tomorrow, I don't think J Hood's going to sit there and like give everybody the juicy details that they probably want, you know?
it's just still not fair because Spoety doesn't have a whack up here that's gonna pretty much tell the story. But in J Hood's favor, he's told me and showed me text messages conveying that J Hood fired on Spoety and Spoety pretty much ducked it and then went and got the blammy or clutched the blammy. That's what he was trying to portray to me. I just don't want it to be like a thing where Spoety has a whack guy on the pod that's able to challenge to a fight when Spoety will never have a guy on the Adam and Wack show that's going to be checking Wack disrespect and being like, I'm standing on the Spoety hill. We could go outside, you
To
know?
be fair, like J Hood,
He said, I'm standing on the Spoety hill. Oh, boy, that shit sound hard, though, Moose. Moose, you been doing your shit, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. You been speaking up, bro, in the right fashion, bro.
his attitude on it is like that he's really, really new to the internet because he was gone for so long.
For sure.
You know, Spoety Face says like I was in prison, but J Hood was in prison like much more recently. And J Hood, like to put into perspective of how green to the internet he is, he was like, damn, I had no idea that so many people hated Unk.
Oh, yeah, I seen that.
I
see that.
That
yeah,
shows,
he's gonna have a lot of fades.
that shows a level of greenness when it comes to the No Jumper fan base and the internet overall that is like, damn, like he thought that this was something that it wasn't because, I mean, all of us know that the Wack hatred is a tidal wave. And I've only seen it get worse since he started doing a podcast on No Jumper, you know? So the fact that J Hood was in any way surprised by that was kind of like, oh, I should assume that you might not know things that I would assume that everybody would know when it comes to the internet, because all of us knew that Wack has, you know, a massive army of people who hate him.
Yeah, and that would show that he's kind of moving as a genuine person, like not even really knowing what's going on and still riding for Wack. I get that. I just, you know.
I don't know how he ain't know that, bro. Right? At this point, it's like public knowledge, bro.
I want to see fools just challenging each other to fights up here, you know?
Yeah,
we can do better than that.
I think
Spoety is a good addition to No Jumper. I don't want that to. J Hood is also a
J-Hood
good
as well,
addition.
yeah.
We would be at the strongest if we had both of them, you know?
it is kind of funny though, because it's funny seeing the fan base act as if they're so heartbroken that Spoety Face is not on the podcast anymore, when I feel like he might be one of the most complained about No Jumper hosts ever.
They complain about you, bro. Right? And you the owner of the building, bro. Nigga, they be on your ass, boy.
I think that's how it goes here.
You know, it's like, but then as soon as he's gone, it's kind of like, God, we loved him. We're not going to be able to watch this podcast without him. You know, I do kind of have a hard time taking it serious. I do think like the Munchie thing is kind of the more mind-blowing exit, just because
that one is less understandable for me.
It is. It's hard to fathom that right there. Because
I understand his thought process, though. I think he's gotten tired of the plays, and he's not really sure where they're coming from. He's not being informed of the plays that he feels are being ran.
You like to hire street cats, right? And you know what come with that, right? But then when a situation arises, you like to act like you don't know what come with that. Right? Keep your nerd ass on the sidewalk, bro. Stop playing, bro.
But he wasn't really around for
I think like
plays, right?
Not too many, but I think just like, you know, Spoety crashed in the pod, which obviously there's no issue with that. But he's just like, he's a blind guy who's being, you know, bombarded with people crashing pods. And I feel like that's making him feel some type of way.
Do you think it was more of him being pissed off at plays and stuff, or the fact that he thinks that Flacco called the boys on him?
I think that's like a play sort of type of thing.
I don't think Flacco.
I don't think he would have done that.
I don't think so either, but he did say that.
Saying it like
It's weird to me that he believes that,
because there was police outside that day. That's why I think.
Yeah, but I don't like. Did Flacco?
You basically saying it's weird that he don't think like you, right? I'm analyzing shit from my own eyes and my perspective, bro. How the fuck is weird that I think he called the police and the police was outside? Nigga, how they get out there then?
Didn't say that.
Flacco said it.
Flacco said it much later, though, right?
He said it in a video. He said that's how I play ball. He said that's how I give it up.
Is a psychopath.
Because that's what I want to know. I want to know how Adam feels about a no jumper affiliate going full Charleston White and saying I called the police on that.
I think to me it's pretty obvious that Flacco's trolling when he says that. So to me it's kind of like the more astonishing thing is just that Munchie fell for that. But I mean, in general, like. Listen, we had asked Munchie multiple times not to have that on him when he's on the podcast. You know, it's not that hard to like give it to somebody else or leave it in the car or whatever, right? So the fact that Vel captured it, it's like, yeah, I don't really have any sympathy for you because we had asked you multiple times, hey, a strapped up blind man on the podcast is obviously an insane look.
It's like, so fire though.
It's okay.
No pun intended. No pun intended.
But it's
ready
like
for anything.
We asked him multiple times.
And it is, bro. Yeah, and it is fire, Moose, right? But see, at the same time, right? You not looking at why somebody feel like they need to have a weapon at your podcast. You just telling them, no, don't bring a weapon, bro. It's cool. I got you. That don't mean shit to me, bro. You can't do shit.
Like, bro, it looks crazy. Like, it was bad enough when you had Brick Baby and you saw it on him a couple times, and we had the same conversation with Brick Baby of like, listen, I'm not going to search you every time you come in here, but if you do feel the need to move around like that, just please do not have it visible, right? And like the fact that Munchie felt the need to do that again, and I didn't see it. I wouldn't have known about it if it wasn't for Vel's little Meta Glasses clip. But ultimately, it's like, I mean, how, like, I don't know. It's just, it's, we don't want this to seem like this super unprofessional environment. And we already feel like we've kind of are like turning a corner after the great no jumper beating that took place like a year and a half ago. And so
too late. And you think he could tell that it was showing, bro? He say the fact that he keep doing it, bro. Like he keep purposely trying to show the hammer. No, one of your co-hosts filmed him, put it on their gram, this, that, and the third, some more other shit, right? It's funny how when as soon as they leave the podcast, now you want to talk about they had weapons on them and shit, right? Then you want to infidel, right? You confirm it. Like, oh, dude, I'm not going to sit up here and lie. Bruh, nobody asked you to lie. Just shut the fuck up. And even for, like, the little squabbles and shit, you try to act like you can't stop it because it's good for the short term, but in the long term, it make you look unprofessional. But you're not thinking about why motherfucker feel like they got to come up to your podcast with a weapon, bro, right? You trying to trick bag them. Like, basically, it's all cool up here. I got you. Then when slap them up, right? Or something like that. Or whatever they was talking about they was going to do, right? Then what? You just got a viral moment on your podcast and then it just look like a mark. Bruh.
Say, ho, you can't be playing with that paper, ho. Nigga need that yaper, need it now and not later, ho. Say, ho, you can't be playing with that paper, ho. Nigga need that yaper, need it now and not later, ho. Say, ho, you can't be playing with that paper, ho. Nigga need that yaper, need it now and not ho. You can't be playing with that paper, ho. Nigga need that yaper, need it now and not later, ho. Say ho, you can't be playing with that paper, ho. Nigga need that yaper, need it now and not later, ho. Say ho, you can't be playing with that paper, ho. Nigga need that yaper, need it now and not later, ho. Ay, I need that cheese like a grater, ho. Don't play me like no cent, cause I never Captain Saber, ho. Yeah, but you can fucking be my waiter, ho. Long as you get paper, ho, cause shit, that's what the paper for. Y'all niggas chasing dough, but what we racing for? But we ain't racing, we just